Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. In Season 2 of Hacks and Hobbies, we're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life. Want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, we get to speak with Joseph Villarrubia.
You got it. Man.
Awesome.
You wouldn't believe the number of people who don't get that right on the first try.
Really?
Props to you, sir.
Yeah. Joseph, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day and coming on to the podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Joseph Villarrubia. I am a copywriter and aspiring digital marketer. I've been in the writing business for about 2 years and enjoy it immensely.
Nice.
I hail from Maryland. I live outside of Washington, D.C.
Nice.
Anything else?
Of course, everything else, man. And now that I hear you from this awesome platform of Zencastr, you do have a radio voice, man.
Yeah, people do tell me that. I mean, a couple other things about myself. I mean, we do. I was saying that that I'm completely ADHD.
Yeah.
And as such, I have a wide variety of interests.
Mm-hmm.
I like to get into everything because I see value and excitement in almost everything. So so I love kayaking. I love canoeing. I love bicycle riding.
Nice.
I really enjoy building things that are somehow automated, right? So if I can understand how each component works together, even if I can't see, exactly what can be built with those things, I really enjoy playing with them, building stuff, making more connections, improving, optimizing, all that fun stuff. I can do that for hours and hours and hours without even thinking about eating or sleeping.
Nice.
Oh, karate too.
Nice.
Martial arts, mixed martial arts, things like that.
Funny thing, I did kickboxing years and years ago, and this was back in Saudi Arabia, and I did it for like 3 months. We got a booklet and it said, kickboxing or Jeet Kune Do, was invented by Bruce Lee. And there's actually a movie, in the movie portrayed by his son, talks all about it. They demonstrate, how powerful Jeet Kune Do was. Within 60 seconds, he was able to defeat his opponent. And I was like, this is so cool. So, I did that for like 3 months, and then I moved to the States. And then I kept looking. I was like, where can I train for Jeet Kune Do out here? But I just never was able to find it. And then later on in life, I found some kickboxing classes, and I just didn't have the time to, get back into that sport.
Yeah. Another really effective martial art that's similar to kickboxing and is essentially a self-defense technique is Krav Maga.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's the Israeli mixed martial arts. It's basically the beauty of it is in its simplicity. There's like maybe 15 or 20 moves to learn.
Oh, really?
And each move can be applied to a wide variety of different situations. Like, is the person holding a gun or a knife in their hand? It doesn't really matter. I mean, like, with this technique, the point is you get it out of their hand, right? And then, hit them in the face to paralyze them or whatever. And you take them down with, as little effort on your part and as little damage as possible to them. You don't want to use excessive force, both because it's getting you in trouble, and also because we really don't want to hurt people that badly.
No. So one of the things that you mentioned that you wanted to do as a hobby was mountain biking. What is it about mountain biking that's so fascinating to you?
There's just something about being. I mean, and you talk to people who drive race cars, who ride horses, and who also ride bicycles and motorbikes. Some of the time, they'll just describe the experience of being on something that is moving almost like it's under its own power. Yeah. Right. That basically when you make even so much as a slight adjustment, it responds immediately, right?
Yes.
For different people, it's different. Like for some people, it's just, hey, I really like feeling the wind in my face, you know?
Yes.
I really like for horseback riders, I really like the feeling of a four-legged quadruped moving under me or whatever. You know, for me though, for bicycle riding, it's that this is something which moves itself under my power by pedaling it, and it's like my whole body has to be involved, like every part of it. Right.
Yeah.
Sitting at a computer, the only things that need to be involved are like my fingers, my eyes, my ears, and my brain, basically.
Yes.
Right. But on a bike, I mean, especially mountain biking and stuff like that, where you've got to adjust immediately for whatever situation arises. You know, it's like your whole body and your spirit is engaged in the act of staying on top of that bike and making it over the obstacles.
Yes, absolutely. Now, what's funny about me is I got into biking. So when I was younger, I rode different types of bikes. I think my first bike was probably a BMX, but then I even had a banana bike. And then eventually my last bike that I had growing up was a mountain bike. And this was 94, 95. And then what's funny is that every single bike that I owned was eventually stolen at one point in my life.
Yeah, that's always rough.
Right. So when I moved to the States, I was like, all right, I want to get a bicycle. But I never got to buying a bicycle till 2011.
Okay.
So from 95 to like 2011, I was like, I'm going to get a bike. And just never got a bike. You know, I was driving. Like I'm driving cars around. And then so finally I got a mountain bike, and my brother-in-law is huge into mountain biking. He's like, yeah, dude, get a mountain bike. And for some reason, at one point, my cousin was working at REI, and he's like, dude, I can get you discount on these mountain bikes. And one of my friends told me, you know, you totally got to get a Diamondback mountain bike because they're the best. Now I have no idea about bikes, right? No idea what's a good manufacturer or whatever. If I'm going to get a bike, it has to be a Diamondback. So I ended up getting a Diamondback mountain bike towards the end of 2013, something like that. And the bike was awesome. It was heavy. I mean, I picked the cheapest one that I could find.
Yep.
And my neighbor, he's like, let's go biking. And he's got a road bike, and we're going up this hill. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. This is a mountain bike. I'm supposed to be going downhill.
Yep.
And another sessions that I did was with my colleague, and he was into mountain biking too. So we ended up going night riding. I'm like, dude, I just want to ride my bike in a regular day, not at nighttime. And I ended up poking my eye because it was just weird. So not great experiences. But then I moved to Virginia, and my brother was like, all right, let's go mountain biking. And we went to all these cool trails, and it was a lot of fun. And I think I did that for about a year and a half, mountain biking. It was a ton of fun. And now there's like technology's changing all the time. They've got these carbon bikes. They got bikes with huge wheels. They've got bikes with, you know, front suspension, rear suspension, full on, right? You have so many different gears. And I'm like, I can't keep up with this stuff. It's just impossible. So recently I got into road biking because I met with a friend of mine, and, you know, I joined a team, and I did a lot of road biking last year. So I like my mountain bike, but I don't really take it out as much as I took out my road bike, because on the road it's so much easier. You just get on the road and you can start riding. For mountain biking, I have to go find the trails. Now, one of the awesome experiences I had on mountain biking was out in Vail. So I used to live in Colorado, and up on the Vail Mountains, you can, in the summertime, you can rent a mountain bike, go up the mountain using a gondola, and come riding down as fast as you can. It was so much fun. Yeah. And I found out recently that there's some trails out here as well that can do something like that. Yeah, man. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm trying to get my sons into riding bikes as well, and it's been pretty awesome so far.
Yeah, it's really a growing experience. I think riding bicycles may be something which is better learned as a kid. I mean, you know, like I would not be as experienced a rider today if I had started now, because, you know, then I'm getting up every morning and going to work, and then coming back and cooking, and, you know, taking care of the family, and, you know, all that other stuff, and when do I have time to ride? Maybe the weekends. Whereas learning when I was 9, 10 years old, my father used to, the way that he taught me to ride was he would put me on the saddle of a bike, and he would basically propel the bike around the yard, right? And with me sitting in the saddle, and basically my whole job was to just have my hands on the handlebars and learn how to position my body so that the bike wouldn't sway. Right now, of course, he had his hands on it and it was stable, but it wasn't perfectly stable.
Yeah.
Right. So if I shifted too much to the right, I would feel the bike shift that way, and then he would pull it back.
Yeah.
Right. If it shifted to the left, he would catch it and he would push it back. But there was still that moment when the bike almost started to lose control.
Yeah.
Right. This is also where I learned, like, I was allowed to steer the bike completely. Right. So this was also where I learned, how much is too much to turn the bike.
Yeah.
If you turn it too far, you're going to flop over horizontally on your face.
Yep.
Right. Or on your side, rather.
Yeah.
And then after that, he progressed to pushing me down the hill outside our house. We had a hill. And it was a great hill because it was steep and grassy, but it wasn't terribly long. And then it flattened out into a wide, flat area. So basically, I could go down it really fast. Again, lessons in keeping my balance and all that stuff. And then I would have time to, kind of learn to bring it to a halt with the brakes going down this hill. Just gradually losing momentum.
No, that's so true. I can't remember for the life of me how I started to ride a bike or, how I learned, but I know my dad was definitely involved. But teaching my kids to ride a bike, we had training wheels, right? So they've had training wheels. So my oldest son, he's riding the bike since he was 4 all the way up to 6 or 7, and he still had, he grew out of the small bike to a bigger bike, but he still had those training wheels. So finally one day, I think my neighbor, I had taken the wheels off. I was like, all right, you have to learn how to balance your bike and start riding it. So one day my neighbor was like, all right, I'm just going to push you and, help you while you stay on the bike and pedal, because he knew how to pedal. And so he pedaled, and then he finally caught on and he started riding on his own. I was like, yep, had to take somebody else to help him get into that mode of, okay, I gotta, make sure I don't let them down. I can let my dad down, which is fine. So that was pretty cool. So he's been riding bikes, and then I finally got him a 24-inch, road bike, which is also a gravel bike. So he's grown into it. And next year, I think he turns 9, and I want him to participate in some races and see how he does.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds fun.
I even have a trainer at home, so he can train with me because winter is here, and now we're doing training. And so my younger son, I got him a balance bike, and he's got the balance thing down. He just propels himself, pushing, but he just doesn't know how to pedal yet. He does the pedaling with the bike and the side, what do you call this, the training wheels, but he's got to combine the two together. And then, hopefully in springtime, he'll be ready to ride his bike on his own. It's really exciting to see when, kids learn and how fast they learn and get that moving. So like you said, you have ADHD. I do. I don't have it clinically. I think I do. I think I have ADD, but I don't think I was diagnosed for it yet. But I'm always, looking for different experiences and trying different things out. And for this big holiday sale, we picked up a hoverboard.
Oh, yeah?
Have you tried one of those things yet?
A hoverboard. So I never really learned skateboarding. I tried it once outside my friend Eric's house growing up. And I got on the board and it shot out from under me and I landed on my ass. And that was the last time I tried that. Now, I don't want you to think that landing on my behind is a deterrent to me. I've actually crashed on my bike probably 7 or 8 times. like bad ones. Like there was this one time I was coming down a large hill, and I calculated what the bottom of, or misestimated what the bottom of the hill was like, and it was actually a sharp ditch.
Ouch.
That, you know, instead of kind of leveling out, there was a sharp ditch, and there was asphalt on the other side. So I, instead of coming out into a nice, gentle, you know, stop on the asphalt, I ended up slamming my front wheel into the side of this ditch, and I got flung like probably 5 or 6 feet and landed on my face.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Don't worry, my features are still quite beautiful, but it wasn't a pleasant experience, and they certainly weren't for a couple of weeks after that incident.
Oh man, I've had some falling experiences on being on the snowboard. I've punched myself falling off of a snowboard, and I never really got into skateboarding either. But so there was one time where we ended up bringing a skateboard from the States back to Saudi, but I never really rode it to like ride it. We actually used to move furniture.
Oh, okay.
And other boxes around. Like, hey, this is pretty cool. We just need wheels.
Hey, that's smart.
Yeah. But so the hoverboard is really cool. So you got, 2 wheels on either side. What's really cool is that it didn't really take us too long to get a handle of it, because number one, it is self-balancing. So you just have to find your balance and stand on this thing. And all you gotta do is you gotta tap. You basically push your feet forward or push your heels backward to move either side of the hoverboard forward or backward. And the first few times it was pretty hard. You're holding on and trying to get a handle of it. But now my youngest son, 3 years old, right, almost 4, he rides that thing like a boss. I'm like, dude, that's so funny. And he'll just go around the bends. It's really fun. And my older son, he's just and so far we've been only riding it indoors. So we have carpet and a wood floor and vinyl floor, but we haven't taken it outside yet. I'm guessing that it's going to be much harder once we take this thing outside and outdoors on the asphalt.
Yeah. I mean, I think that may be one of the valuable lessons that these things provide us, is that, well, it's 2 things, right? So for me, the bicycle was a ticket to more freedom, right? Like if I wanted to go across town to hang out with my buddies at the park, I could hop on my bike and I could go there, right?
Absolutely.
And instead of, spending, half an hour walking there, I could spend half an hour walking there, I could spend of motion that belonged to me, right? It was my bike.
The mobility, right?
I could just get on it and go, right?
Yes.
This connection between motion and freedom and personal independence is a very profound one, for me anyway. And the thing is that carries a responsibility with it, right? When I'm riding my bike, if I crash and hurt myself, the only person who's responsible for the crash is me, unless somebody hit me.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
So it introduces both these lessons about motion and freedom of movement, as well as the responsibility for yourself and for other people that goes along with it. Repeat of that lesson when I got my first car, right? Like when I got my first car, my dad was like, you gotta bear in mind that you having your license and you having a vehicle gives you freedom. It gives you the privilege to hop in this thing and go wherever you want, whenever you want. But it also carries a responsibility with it, a responsibility for yourself and a responsibility for the other people who may find themselves near the path of your car while you're operating it. So yeah.
No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I mean, the freedom that we get in cars, the freedom that we, as younger kids, getting freedom riding our bicycles. Because you've probably seen the TV show, what's that TV show? Stranger Things, right? You got the 3 boys.
I actually don't watch a lot of TV.
Okay.
I've seen maybe, I like Defiance and The Last Kingdom and Vikings, and that's about it.
Okay. All right, that's cool. Well, anyways, the story of the '80s, right? We like you and I, we used to ride our bikes and go to our friend's place because that's what I did when I had a bike. And I was, in my teens, I would ride it, 10 minutes, and I can be at my friend's house and hang out there and then ride back home. So in the movies, that's the '80s. That's a typical '80s scene. People didn't really have much to do, so they would just ride their bikes. I mean, kids, they would just ride their bikes and go to their friend's place because it's so much more convenient than walking. And same with cars. Like I was the oldest cousin here when I moved to the States who had his first car, and all my cousins would, get to ride with me. Like, hey, you want to go to this park, or we want to go to a friend's place, or we want to go to the movies. Hey, where's Junaid? What's he doing on Friday? He can come pick us up. And we used to do a lot of that. And again, it's that sense of responsibility, sense of ownership, sense of freedom that you get with these awesome tools. And I mean, skateboarding, I'm sure was the same thing for a lot of the kids, right? They've got a set of wheels, and they could be places faster than walking or running.
Yeah, I mean, in our town though, the like another part of the reason that I didn't skateboard a lot was that the skateboard was bullies thing.
Oh, interesting.
So, or at least that was kind of the impression that I had. Of course, once I grew up and matured a little bit more, that image started to fade.
Yeah.
As I had more and more friends who rode skateboards and weren't mean kids.
Yeah.
But the ones that I typically saw riding around when I was riding my bike, especially in my area, most of those kids were up to no good usually.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is pretty cool. So mountain biking, riding, and being mobile, being freedom. So you mentioned that you are a copywriter?
Yes.
So how exciting is that for you?
Let me put it this way. Crafting copy is not the most fun thing in the world. Starting to write copy, like especially if somebody says, I want an original piece of copy. Oftentimes, copywriters will find themselves staring at the page for an hour until, they feel like their head's going to explode or their eyes are going to like stop working or whatever.
Yeah.
But finishing copy and seeing it be successful is one of the most rewarding things I have ever experienced.
Nice.
And that actually goes to another level. It kind of integrates a little bit with what I was telling you about earlier with really liking things that are automated. Especially when I can understand how each component works together to achieve a specific goal. Yeah. And one of the things that I'm trying to move into right now is funnel hacking. And
funnel hacking.
Yeah. So essentially what it is you know what a sales funnel is, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know what a digital sales funnel is?
Well, why don't you tell me about it?
Well,
I can guess all I want.
Yeah. Conceptually, it's about the same thing. The idea is to capture attention, present information, and close a sale.
Yeah.
Right. That's essentially the sales process. Find somebody to listen to you.
Yeah.
Tell them what it is you want them to hear.
Yeah.
And then close them, right? That's a usual sales process, a usual sales funnel. And then a lot of companies have like all these different resources like, oh, here's your script, here's your blah, 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 whatever. With a digital funnel, it's a website that has essentially 4 steps. First is the landing page. So somebody clicks on your advertisement or the link in your email that you sent them or whatever. And this landing page can take a couple of different forms, right? It could be a survey. Yeah. Right. I'm working on one of these for a friend of mine who's a lawyer right now. He wants to survey people for his business. Yeah. And then that leads to an info capture page, which is where people put in their, their name and email address if they want to receive emails from the company that's sending out the survey. And then somewhere in there, there's like a pitch, right? And then there's the e-commerce and thank you page. So it's like 4 or 5 pages. the simplest ones have just 4, and that's the landing page, the info capture, the e-commerce, and the thank you page.
Got it.
And basically what that's designed to do is to basically take people who are already interested, right? They've responded to the ad, they've responded to the email, whatever it is, and take them through the whole buyer's journey in 5 minutes.
Got it.
And then close a sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I really like about this is that it's something that's automated. It can be hard to build, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, putting one of these things together, just getting all the different components working together, I can do that in like 6 hours, right? That's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's the testing it, right? Like, okay, now we're putting out our ads. They come to our funnel. They're going through. They don't make it past the landing page. That tells me there's a problem on the landing page.
Mm-hmm.
Now we tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we split test. We make another page that runs alongside that one.
A/B testing.
If that one gets a better response, we go, okay, what did we do on that page that is better than this page?
Yeah.
We evaluate that, and then we try to do it better. And then we just keep doing that until the people get to the next page.
Mm-hmm.
Rinse and repeat. And then once it works, once people go all the way through and are actually purchasing the product, now it's optimizing it, right? So if one of the beautiful things about these kinds of funnels is if you understand like how much money it costs you to get one lead and how many leads you need in order to make one sale, you can figure out how much money you need to budget for this project. Like I'm working on one right now for a lawyer. He's got 25 years of experience in debt collections. Mm-hmm. And basically he said, I was thinking back on my career and I realized that I've been spending a lot of my time working with credit unions, helping credit unions to get money that they're owed from, people who basically borrow money from their bank and don't give it back. And then he said, but I was sitting thinking about back on my career and I started to wonder, where is the problem, right? Because a lot of these people that I have to go out and collect debts from on behalf of these credit unions are often small businesses.
Yeah.
Now, where's the problem coming from? How can I help these businesses become financially stable enough that they don't feel that they need to try and shirk their responsibility to pay their debts?
Yeah.
And he said, I realized that a lot of these little companies out there actually have a lot of outstanding debts. Mm-hmm. Construction companies especially.
Yeah.
Hey, I rendered services to you. It says right here on the contract, you owe me this much money. You've paid half of it, but you still owe me $10,000 and you haven't paid it to me in 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? How can I pay my debts if people's debts to me aren't being paid?
Yeah.
And so this lawyer basically said, I want you to build me a funnel to bring me these small business owners who have payments past due on their accounts and want somebody to go out and collect their debts for them.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that's
nice. That's the basis.
One thing I don't want to do is I don't want to build funnels for the
rest of your life.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm happy to build funnels for the rest of my life. In fact, I'd be a happy camper building funnels for the rest of my life. Yeah. I would just want it to be for good reasons.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like helping small business owners get, that $10, $15, $20, $30,000 that they never thought they'd see in their entire life. Yeah. In just a few days, like this guy can do and often does. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a worthwhile reason.
No, absolutely.
To build a funnel and send out, essentially what amounts to spam, right? These emails that we're sending out, they're going out to a bunch of small businesses and they're basically saying, hey, do you want to take our survey? It's technically spam, but hey, I'm trying to help you, right? But I wouldn't want to send out spam for something that, like cosmetic surgery or something, right? It's like, if you want it, you know where to get it, but I don't want to try and sell you that.
Yeah, got it. No, that's really cool. I've seen the process. I worked at a company that all we did for small businesses was we're building campaigns for them. We're building home landing pages for them. And then we're tracking, from their landing pages, where's the traffic coming from? Mm-hmm. Did they click on the call button? Did they go through did they fill out the form, or did they click and go to the website of the client? So tracking all of that. So I just didn't know the exact terminology that's used around it. So it's really good to know.
Yeah. I really like a website called clickfunnel.com. It makes it really, really simple. I mean, I've built funnels for this attorney before.
Yeah.
The last one I built him, just getting all the components put together and all the copy written and everything like that. Mm-hmm. It took 4 hours. That was it.
Nice.
Yep.
But then to write the copy, you got to know in and out the business, right?
Well, that's actually the thing about being a copywriter is oftentimes these businesses have the copy written, right? Mm-hmm. Or at least they have something that they think will pass as really, really good copy. Like I went to school with one girl who I'm working on her website right now.
Yeah.
And basically, she had copy written. She's trying to basically release her own line of eyelashes. It's chicciebeauty.com, CHICCI beauty.com.
Yeah.
And basically on her About Us page, she had a lot of really good information, but it was information that belonged on like a landing page or on her shop page, but it wasn't information that told me who she is and what her brand stands for, right? It didn't tell me anything about her brand. And so I basically told her that, and we've been working together on writing copy for her website and basically getting it ready to go and, sell eyelashes.
Nice. That's very cool. Well, where can people find you, Joseph? My audience.
Yeah. So for the most part, right now, I just have people emailing me at my email address. It's joevillarru@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can also go to my website. It's Joseph Villar, VILLAR.com. Mm-hmm. That is my portfolio. And actually right now I'm working on converting my portfolio over to WordPress. But if people do want to find out, what my work experience is and some things that's the website to go to.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been using WordPress forever and at version 5.0, and it's got a really awesome writing experience. And they're basically trying to take on Medium on their writing platform.
Yeah, look forward to that.
So, Joseph, it was really awesome chatting with you. And I'm sure we can work together because I'm not a copywriter myself, but I do write copy every once in a while. And it takes a lot of time in getting it right. And I think one thing that I recently signed up for is Grammarly. Definitely has helped clean up some of my writing. But again, I've got to write more copy. In fact, my own website, humblezone.com, has not been updated in a very long time. And recently I converted it over to WordPress as well. Then there, I just put a maintenance page on it. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done in many areas, and there's so many tools available. Actually, WordPress enables you to import RSS feed from other places, which is really cool, and you can manage content based on topics. It's a really cool plugin. Of course, it costs money to be able to control some of the stuff, but once you have it set up, you can basically import content from other sites. One thing that I've used for my podcast is Anchor, is where I upload my podcast, and every time I publish a podcast, my website goes and grabs the new podcast and puts it on, creates a new post for it. So that's something really awesome about it. So yeah, WordPress has so much power. It's just amazing how far it's come.
What's your experience with satire, by the way?
I don't know what satire is.
Oh, it's like do you know what The Onion is?
Yeah. Humor sites.
Yeah, like where it's like, hey, we're not actually being serious. We're just poking fun at like an opponent or something like that.
Oh yeah. I love satire. I mean, I watch Stephen Colbert and all of that stuff. I mean, that's what they're doing, right? Political satire.
Yeah, like a good example is there's a proverb, I think, in the Bible that goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Well, Terry Pratchett, a famous satirist, wrote, if you give a man a fire, you warm him for a day. If you set a man on fire, you warm him for the rest of his life. So yeah,
that's too funny.
That's kind of what satire is. I've been kind of trying my hand at it a little bit. I had a friend of mine who is. He was a friend of mine in high school, but basically he was trying to convince me of the virtues of slavery. And so I wrote a piece called Why Slavery is Good for the Environment and sent it to him. And I was basically satire.
Oh man!
Satirizing his arguments, including like solving the employment problem and healing the environment and things like that.
That's so funny.
Things like that.
Cool, man. So I would definitely listen to a satire podcast. I mean, if you're looking to, jump into that area.
Yeah, I'll definitely think about it. Again, I'm still just kind of dabbling in it. I haven't published any satire yet.
Yeah.
Though I am thinking of sending that one I just told you about to The Onion. But seeing what they think.
Cool, man. It was really good talking with you. Hope to learn more from you and follow your journey.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode on Hacks and Hobbies. We absolutely appreciate your contribution. You can find additional notes on hacksandhobbies.com. Please share the podcast with your friends and tell them what you learned about our guest today.